Welcome back, Crits and Failures, to another episode of the Critical Fail Podcast. This is episode 40. That's awesome. That's like 10 times 4. It must be a big deal, so thank you very much for coming along the ride with us so far, and I hope you're enjoying yourself, and we are extremely, definitely, totally enjoying ourselves. We've had a tiny bit of a break on our side between games, and the guys are just starting to go crazy, which means they're hooked. The plan is working. So hopefully we get back in there and have another live session here soon. So my apologies go out to the Twitch viewers, but we are playing and will be playing as often as possible. This episode is brought to you by Matt's Mats, the acrylic 1-inch grid system that we make and sell ourselves. Please go to criticalfail.com, critical with a 1 instead of an L, fail.com, and check them out. That's the best way to support us. If there's something else you would like to see, some sort of poster or t-shirt or other little thing, let us know and maybe we can make that happen. If you would like to support us and feel like touting the awesomeness that is Critical Fail, let us know and we'll try and make that happen. We're looking to start doing that here soon. We've switched our podcast server, and so now we are able to get more information and data and try and connect with you guys more. So please hop over there on iTunes or wherever you may want to and leave a favorable review or a negative review if you were mean. And also one quick personal note, happy birthday to Matt, aka Thordin. He's old now. Or find him on the internet or down in the comments below, say happy birthday to Thordin. So, without further ado, Critical Fail episode 40, Dwarven Specters.
So I've got to look down and over.
Yeah, you can. There you go. Look down to your left to look at me.
That's where you need to put your second monitor, is right there.
Yeah.
So you can look down at us. You should move the paladin up there.
That's right.
Who's looking down at everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Well, now we need to move him into the middle and put like a whole group of goblins around him, so you can like look all like that's the Brady Bunch right there. All right, guys, you're all set.
Let us proceed.
Yep, sounds good.
I've only got 8 more goblin voices to come up with on the fly, so let's see how this goes. 7 more. That's why I killed one.
During the break, did you come up with 7 new names?
Yes.
Okay, because I'm going to write them all down.
All right, you won't have to, but I'll tell you what their names are.
I'm not writing them down.
I'm not writing them down either.
Don't worry about it then.
Nope, I just saw that.
Because Shaky's the translator, that's all I need to know.
Right. He'll let us know what these jacknuts are saying. Now, do I feel like these are all
They're
pretty
my
weak
loyal people at
goblins?
Well, no, I mean, some of the goblins you guys fought on the chasm, took a couple hits to go down, and were able to pin you down. Like, if 1 or 2 had come back, yeah, you'd be like, all right, But you've got a small swarm.
We've got a squadron.
Yeah.
A platoon of goblins.
You don't know what their names are yet, but you will find out as they come out. It'll be very, very
perfect.
Easy to guess where they came from. Okay, so there you guys be. Okay, so you guys are there. Let's recap. Jake, why don't you recap what the plan is?
Okay, so the plan is to have these new members of our group go out and help start to attack the boom boom bang bang place.
Yep.
Whatever it was called, yeah. Because there's some bugbears there, so that'll help out with that. We also need to get over to the catacombs, I think it was, for Thordin.
The crypt?
The crypt, that was it, yeah. So we got to get to the crypt. So we'll probably, I don't have the map in front of me. I think we'll hit that up first, and then we'll hit the
map.
boom boom bang bang place.
Yes, they will let you know that the crypt is before the boom boom bang bang.
Okay, perfect.
So boom, boom, bang, bang.
Was basically the steamed craft stores was where that was. Yep. That's where that was described as being. All right.
I'm going to try and cook up 9 more strips of whatever the crab meat. If I can.
I'll go so far as, you cook up the other claw, which could basically...
Roll 9 times.
Let's successful.
Let's say, Oorith, you cook up the other claw, which could easily feed the whole party at least another meal, eating really well. But you can keep it in claw form if you want to just strap it to you or something for a little while. If that's what you want to do. Like, it'd be easier to carry that way.
Claw form is good. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it was a claw was basically as big as Thordin, so it was pretty big. Yeah. It smelled better too. So
I don't know. I have a feeling that I've got some pretty good smelling crab meat on me at this point.
exactly. So Matt, do you mind take that? We don't need that map right now. Let's put you guys kind of just south of that building on that other map, if we can.
Do any of the goblins not have weapons?
No, they all came. Yeah, they all came with weapons. They came with varying short swords and spiked clubs and things like that.
Okay, because we do have that extra short sword here that the one guy flung into the room.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's easily somebody that you're like, oh, and he brought a stick.
I'm going to use just one goblin to represent the horde. Is that fine?
Yeah, for now, that's a great idea. But keep Shaky separate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shaky's the only hand-drawn one.
You ripped the glove off Mr. Krabs.
There we go.
There you go.
See, now you're carrying the claw.
Oh, perfect. Beautiful.
Can you stick this up above,
Up above.
if possible?
Maybe?
Maybe. Mats. Criticalfail.com.
There hasn't been
.com.
Amy does a better job plugging.
there hasn't been enough product placement drops.
Right.
No, at the beginning of every episode, I say it, so I try to keep it out of the game as much as possible. All right, so
Except for the last round where it was said like every 20 minutes.
yeah. Well, Amy said it, and she's much better at it than us. So, Matt, can you point to where Boom Boom Bang Bang is supposed to be?
Is this area?
Yep, that's area. Just up north of there is the beginning of the palace, or the Goblin City. You guys have inferred that much. South of there is kind of the Ale and Rest area, those middle group of buildings. The big building all the way to the west in the middle is over here, is the Weights and Measures building, according to the map. And all the way to the east is the Crypt area. It just has an orientation where you guys are. Yep, and I'll explain those lines when you get there. So there you guys are. You have not explored that building to the east of where you are on the bottom right side, the southeast side.
The iron building?
Is Iron Building. Technically, you didn't explore
Gold or silver?
Right, silver or gold,
Or iron. Oops.
but you did. You did explore Gem, Superman, and last one is Iron. Very cool. All right, so there you guys are. You guys. So the thought is to have Boom Boom Bang Bang thing attacked with help. But you guys said, but first we're gonna go to the
I
crypt.
have to sneak into the crypt. Well, they'll stay outside and I have to go in because they'll
that's
get
fine.
killed in, right?
That's what the map said basically, and the goblin said that they won't come in.
That's what the lady at the infirmary told me. Is it
She said it better. Yeah, she just suggested not going in. So the goblins say, Shaky says, "We no go by crypt. Shaky, take crab platoon and wait in big building over here." And he points at your map to the Weights and Measures building. Yeah, he says, "We wait there for you to take on Boom Boom Bang Bang." Yes? He looks at you, Oorith.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
All right. So that's in theory where Shaky and the crab platoon are going to be hanging out.
In theory.
It's kind of a little symbiotic to that Shaky now has like semi-crab armor. Anyway. One of the other goblins that speaks common looks at you, Oorith, and says, "We carry the claw for you if you like. We take that over to the building."
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay. they head off.
I have a little motivation to stick around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They head off, and chattering the whole way, and they fade off into the darkness, going north and west. never to be seen again. So there you guys are. Do you guys want to go to Iron or to the Crypts, or what would you like to do?
Well, I think since Iron's on the way,
Sure.
I would like to investigate Iron, just hoping that it may have some arrows or some form of a tip that I could maybe craft my own
just the
arrows
tip?
out of.
Just the tip?
Just the tip.
Okay.
you would accept it if it was just the tip, but the whole arrow would be better.
I would.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What would you say? What would you say you would be willing to give to accept just the tip?
I don't like the way this conversation is headed.
He would be okay with just the tip, but he'd rather get the shaft.
If I gave you, what if I gave you 600? What if I gave you 600 experience points? Would you take just the tip?
No, because I don't level.
No. Okay. Everybody gets 600 except for Jake gets 601 for the Goblin Brigade.
As a bonus.
Because I'm still trying to keep everybody leveling up around the same.
Right.
But Jake might make it there 1 point ahead.
What was the
So
level? Where's that from?
6,500. We still have 600 to go.
yeah.
Not me, I'm at 6180.
Oh, I'm only at 59.85.
Oh.
I think you did your math wrong. Where were you?
What are you at, Jake, for
at
experience?
53.
I'm at
We added how many?
4,486.
You're a whole like 2,000.
I think you're
behind us.
15 off. 1,500. You might have missed.
Whoops! Did I forget to put one in?
What did you give us?
600.
Oh, yeah, then I did my math wrong. So I'm at 5880.
I'm at
What was-
59.80.
We were at 1,500 last time. Then
What,
We added 1,500 to whatever. You're
after
missing,
the last game, yeah, we added 1,500, and then we just added 600 now. So try adding try adding a total of 2,100 and see what you get.
Yeah.
Even you guys shouldn't be that far apart.
100?
Yeah. Because
Well,
I've
that
only
would put
given you
me
guys 1 or 2 points. What?
That would put me at 5,986.
So,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
and
I'm
at
just going to go.
85.
5,980.
I'll go 5,980. And we're close enough.
That was awful, everybody. That was just awful.
I
But
would just like to point out that I was the only one correct.
well, accounting major, so we'll go with that. All right.
I went to school for mechanics, so let me tell you how this would work.
Close enough. Close enough. It runs. All right.
Here's your problem.
Okay, guys. So there you are on the south side. You want to head over to Iron. Do you start to make your way over there?
Yes.
Maybe feeling a
Yes.
little bit lonely without Shaky for the first time?
No.
No. Okay. Good. Good. Just checking. You guys make your way east and to Iron. You come to again another building. This one actually does have a lot of iron worked into the relief sculpture around the outside, and this one shows lands near and far. Mountains and rivers and oceans and boats and stuff, and dwarves selling and trading their wares, and it shows them selling swords and crowns and even wagon wheel hubs and everything, just nails and everything in between, and it even gives an effort, a pretty decent effort, to show how those tools have built the world. Like they're giving nails to somebody, and behind them is a town, and they're giving like a wagon wheel to somebody, and behind them is a farm. And really kind of self-important as far as their distribution process goes. And the iron is worked into it in various places. Like usually the item that they're handing is fully made out of iron. It's not a real thing. It's like a representation of it, but it's an iron plate kind of made into it. A few pieces have been broken off from the outside, but most of it was so built into there that the goblins couldn't pry loose the little decorations.
All right. We got the same kind of deal with a door at the south.
I'm sorry. Yes, 2 doors in the south.
I just want in.
I know, it's fine.
We're going to the crypts. It's been months building up to this crypt
I'm sorry. Yep, you guys make your way to the bottom doors. 2 iron doors, in fairly decent condition. They've got a kind of an interesting patina on them, but they haven't been rusted through or anything. Hang there. One is slightly open.
I'm going to peek my head into the one that's slightly open. You peek your head in, and
The room instantly smells just like fetid, stagnant water. And it's pretty nasty. You kind of peek in, and you can instantly see that like something happened to the floor where it's just been kind of completely knocked out and corroded down, and there's like a big stagnant pool in there. Make a perception check from where you are.
It's 12.
Yeah, and then you notice that there's a lot of random detritus and stuff around the room that has odd shapes, but you can't quite make out what it all is from here, from your head poking through the door.
Gotcha. Does it look like a statue or anything is in there?
You can't quite tell from where you are.
Okay. I don't need.
You're like, is anything glinting? No.
It looks
Thanks.
pretty destroyed to me.
It's like super mega destroyed and like interestingly destroyed, if nothing else.
I tell these guys it looks pretty destroyed in there.
Okay, just keep heading on up to the crypt then.
All right. Good with that, Bard?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Okay, cool. So you guys leave all that description and planning behind. No, I'm just kidding. And
So you're right.
You have a lot of dialogue that we're missing too.
No. I like to plan things for everywhere, but you're good. So as you guys make your way north, you slide past the building of the gem on the left and the iron on the right, and you do realize at this point that sure enough, the relief sculptures were at all the way around each building, continuing the themes that I had, kind of described before. As you move basically a little bit north of where you are, you'll notice to the left there are what looks like, a town, just kind of starts to crop up there, and just buildings of various sizes, some with old like signs still hanging from their above the doors. And the only thing different about it, of course, is that it's still built on a stone floor, and so it's kind of got this almost like a model kind of look, or I don't know, just something a little strange. But Thordin looks like home.
Seems fine.
Yeah, it seems fine. This would be that place of ale and rest, I think, is what it said. So you know that Shaky is supposed to be way to the west, waiting for you. Do you guys head straight to the crypt?
I'd like to get this crypt thing taken care of.
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah, I
faster
agree.
is better. So do you guys want to wait outside while I go in the crypt, or what do you think?
Well, I will.
You want to sneak around?
I would like to at least walk up to maybe the doors or the archways to it.
See how close you can get.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Before maybe I get a weird feeling or.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You guys make your way up to what the map had labeled as the row of gods and good workers. And in front of there are 5. You kind of come up to this area. I have 4 drawn there, Matt. If you want to draw another square, like 5th square, right in front of you. Are 5 low obsidian blocks lie out, and behind there are 5 hallways that line up behind them. Each of the obsidian blocks has a large weapon or tool sticking, jutting right out of the thing. Right out of the center of the obsidian block. Some of them have goblin tribal signs hanging on them, but most of them are largely untarnished, all things considered. One is a broadsword, one is a hammer, one is a great axe, one is a pickaxe, and one is a scale. The piles kind of resemble cairns or headstones or like that kind of monument looks.
Okay.
A little bit larger than life, and that's what you see in those 5 things. And then those kind of lines I drew in the back are just are the tunnels that kind of head off. They're giant, massive tunnels. Probably each one's probably about 20 feet wide, and then 10 feet between them, and then 20 more feet wide for the next one, and then 10-foot solid wall, and they rise way up into the darkness above you.
So I think going down the one that's labeled with a hammer is probably preferential to me.
Sure. So let's we'll say that's the second one up, and you start walking down that way. Are you guys
Before you go, actually, I'm going to do Bardic Inspiration for you. Since we're not going to be there if shit hits the fan, I'm going to give you something at least.
Sounds
So you got
good.
that D6.
I'm also gonna reach in my pack and pull out the cloak that I found earlier, and hand it to Thordin and tell him that I found this underneath the statue of the guy that I can't remember what his name is.
I like to think that
started with an M.
Sure. You're like the statue of that guy with the M.
The statue of the guy stepping on the other guy.
Oh, of course, Morden.
Yeah.
Standing on Rocknar. Yeah. Okay.
And tell him that I found this at the base of the statue, and it had a small piece of paper with it, or that said "flight," but immediately disintegrated when I picked it up.
Do you suppose the paper was flight or this cloak?
I don't know, but I think if you were going to meet with Dwarven ghosts, just like the one that we dealt with in the infirmary, that maybe they will view, if you wear this, they will view you, or view you as maybe of higher authority, or a more noble person.
Well, I couldn't see me being more noble than I am, but I suppose let's go.
You put the cloak on?
Yeah, I'll put it on.
Okay. Looks like very black, dark cloak. Kind of hides the symbols of Ula a little bit, but, it doesn't fit too badly. Kind of drags ever so slightly on the ground.
I'm also going to make it known that when you get back, I would like my cloak back.
Ah, your cloak. Understood.
Thordin gets out his journal, is like, give back to Liam? ? So you make your way up, and so are your other two guys, are you going to stay outside from here?
I'll guard the entrance.
Yeah. Okay. You start to make your way down, and your vision shifts back over to the dark vision, into that gray universe that it is. But there's also almost this like kind of ethereal greenish kind of hue that just kind of emanates from the walls. But it doesn't feel threatening or foreboding. It just feels very somber as you walk here. The walls are lined neatly with 2 foot by 3 by 4 foot stone placards that read the names of numerous dwarves, and they're implanted just like side by side and up and up and up into the darkness above you. It says the name of the dwarf, the greatest deed that they did, and how they left this world. Pretty quickly you're just kind of overwhelmed by the amount of history here, as just in this corridor, hundreds of dwarves, who all worthy of this kind of recognition are laid out, and with their names and how they left this world. You perhaps even recognize a few of their surnames, just as, oh wow, that was somebody of that clan, and that was so perhaps starting to make a connection from where you came from to the history of this place. The air has a deathly but comfortable feel, and it has not been disturbed as far as you can tell. Perception check?
Yes.
Blah blah blah.
4.
Yeah. That's all you can kind of tell as you start walking down this corridor. It extends beyond your sight.
So I can feel this energy from the...
It just kind of emanates from all around you. Yeah.
So I am going to say, Dwarven brothers, I come with a message from the infirmary.
Okay.
Oh, did I write down that lady's name?
You're like, what's your name? No, nothing response.
Okay, I continue.
Okay, very cool. You make your way down slowly, kind of your footsteps echoing around you and back at you off the walls. As you push on farther, eventually you can hear the sound of dice rolling and kind of ethereal echoing laughter.
Dice rolling?
Mm-hmm. It sounds more like this, ha 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 ha, than fuck another one.
All right. I say my piece again.
Okay. You hear shh 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 shh, somebody's coming. After you say your piece, and nothing happens. You can see that towards the end of that the corridor that you're walking down ends in front of you, and in a solid wall from where you are.
Okay. I'll go down to the wall.
Very cool. So you come down to the wall, and the walls to the side of you, or to the oh my gosh, crypts or whatever to the side of you, the stop, and you come down to the end, and there's a hallway that you can only imagine adjoins the 5 hallways at the other end, and just to your left is a small, simple wooden door with an undisturbed octagonal piece of glass on it that depicts a gem. And that was where, and that's the only thing that you can see as far as where to continue to.
Okay, well, I guess I carefully open the door.
Okay. A chill wind blows against you as you open the door. Inside is a simple, long table and a set of chairs heavily warped by weather and time. Around it sit 5 ethereal dwarves. Beyond it, you can see that the ceiling is nothing more than iron grates. It's as though the chamber is a portal to the sky, but you can't easily. Well, you can't. You haven't gone over there yet. You feel like a faint breeze, probably the first fresh air you've smelled in quite some time. And again, sitting around are these 5 ethereal dwarves. There's a miner and a female warrior and a male warrior. Very clearly, just because they have lethal weapons and armor, and stuff like that, and then some fairly more like merchant type dressed up people. But they're all men and women of that style, and they look at you as you walk in. They are giving you the fiercest. Actually, make a charisma check.
1.
Fantastic. They are glaring you down as you walk in, just like, how dare you enter into our thing? And they kind of stand up and look at you.
And I just say, I'm not here to disturb. I'm simply delivering a message from the spirit in the infirmary.
One of them moves forward and says, If that be true, what be her name?
I don't know her name.
Did you write it down? Do you think your character would remember?
I would think so. It's the only dwarf he's encountered.
Roll a d20 and don't roll a 1.
Roll a d20 and don't roll a 1. How does a 3 hit
Okay,
you?
you remembered it.
Okay.
I'll see if I can find it.
So I totally thought of something, but I'm not near.
Go run down there.
I'm not running anywhere near him right now.
Okay, 1 second. I'll pull up her name because it's just funny if I can remember it.
Totally.
The DM doesn't remember it.
Mavira Granitefoot.
Mavira Granitefoot was her name.
Okay, now let me scroll back down to where we are.
Don't worry, I'm gonna write it in this time.
Seems like he should write it down because he's got his fucking notebook. Okay, so he come on, where was it? Ale and rest. Oh, it's down here. Okay, sorry. Okay, yeah. You say her name, and the guy they kind of stare at you, pregnant pause for 1 second, and then one of them blasts and says, "Oh, come on in, laddie. A friend of hers be, a friend of ours you be. Come on over and have a seat." And they gesture towards one of the very warped, but probably still functional chairs around the table.
I gladly sit down.
It is now a jovial and happy, wonderfully receptive, though everyone's dead, kind of room.
All right, excellent.
One of them walks up to you and says, "My name be Helmet Rivet Toe," and he says, "This be Sheila Tablebreaker, Krellbutt Headscar, Jiggle, No Nuts, and Sparkle Eye."
All right.
He says, "What can we help you with, my son? We haven't seen our brother in quite some time."
Nor have I. In quite some time since I've entered this cave area and made my way back through. Actually, believe we're going backwards through here.
What do you mean backwards through here?
Well, we came from the cave system underground and are making our way.
You came from the mines.
Right.
Wow. He said, "How the hell did you find your way down there, not coming through the city?"
We were coming down to dispatch some evil, and this was the quickest way out. And it's quite an impressive establishment you have here.
Why, thank you. We worked for many a lifetimes generating this place and getting up to speeds. Is it still overrun by those accursed goblins? And he turns and spits ethereal spit towards the floor. It goes right through it.
And I tell him, Yes, we dispatched a number of them, and we're on our way to clear out, hopefully, their leader and see.
He says, and which leader be it that you are after?
What was it? Something foot. Is red
Jelly
and
roll.
Jellyfoot.
Oh, Jellyfoot.
Jellyfoot.
Red and Jellyfoot.
He says, the true leaders, those two not be, but they are the guiding force of the goblins here. He says, I think it'll be quite an undertaking to massacre and smear out all these little goblins that have infested our place, but it can be done. He says, it sounds very noble. He says, I have a bit of wisdom for you, if you care to wager for it.
What are the stakes?
He says, we will play a game of 5 dice poker. He says, and if you win, I'll tell you everything I know about where you be going. And if I win, you stay down here with us forever. Now, you are rolling against me, so what the fuck? I mean, come on.
I'm going to say, unfortunately, I can't wager something so great as I have unfinished business and people to tend to.
There's kind of another pregnant pause, and then Sheila says, "Oh, Helmet, stop giving him a hard time. Of course we're not going to keep you down here forever if you lose." He's like, Helmet's like, "Oh, it's just a game I like to play." He's like, "Oh, come on, sit down with us, play some dice, and we'll talk."
I'll play dice.
Okay. Yeah. So you guys start playing dice, and it appears that they're not really playing for anything in particular, but one of them at the table is quite adept at math and is like keeping track, and he says, "I'll deal you in for 50, orens, and, whatever," and just kind of whatever. And sorry, and you're just going to have to trust him, because obviously your math skills with your experience points aren't up to speed right now. But, he's keeping track, and he says, "So you're standing at this and this and this," and they start playing 5 dice poker. Basically just like normal poker except with dice. Okay, so they'll start talking. They say, what would you like to know about where you be going?"
Well, first I feel like I should portray the message that
Oh yes, from Melvira.
that I have from Melvira Granitefoot.
Please, let me know.
She wanted me to let everyone know here in this crypt that should she be needed, her services are available.
We haven't seen Melvira from quite some time. What kind of ailments be keeping her away? Is she starting to fade?
It doesn't seem as though she's starting to fade. She's just sticking around her infirmary area these days.
He says, "Very well, perhaps we have to make our way to her. Be you going back that way?"
Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have to keep heading north and make our way out. So I don't believe we'll be passing by her.
He says, "Well, if you do be clearing this place out when you leave, perhaps our spirits will be able to move on as it is, and we can get on to that next adventure and see what's over on the other side. But for now, here we'll stay." He says, Is it just you? You said you brought you and a army fell down looking for trouble?"
I have a couple of companions. They aren't quite as useful as fellow dwarves, but they're
Well, they never are.
they're able to survive what this place has become, no problem. And there's a great evil at the town, Morgania, which we're making our way back and hope to dispatch of.
Very good. He says, "Well, outside politics and developments of the greater world we've lost track of ages ago," he says, "but in here, things have been changing for the worse for quite some time." And he gestures over to somebody with a different voice and says, "No, it's you, Philomen." Nonit says, "Well, sir, he's like, the goblin read, and his cronies kind of came in a while ago. Rumor has it they've been searching for a child for quite some time, and just recently we heard some passing by goblins saying that they found this child, and it might have him in that palace up there.
Well, from what I understand, there's a wizard that's keeping all this going, so...
Yes, some sort of wizard, human or elf or something. He's been visiting him quite some time and seems to be twisting the screws on these guys, keeping them around.
Well, he's on our list.
As well he should be. We think he's the reason that the Chul found its way here, and the Etten.
Well, we took care of both of those, didn't we?
Yep.
Yeah. I tell him the story of all of that.
Well, holy shit. He says, that's awesome. He says, tell us about the fight.
Well, it was mostly me. I hit him a bunch with the hammer.
Uh-huh.
And then I healed myself a little, and then I hit him more with the hammer, and it's usually all it takes.
Tried and true. Fantastic. He says, so you got rid of the Chul. He says, only other bit of information.
Level.
What was that?
I'm almost a level 5 paladin.
Don't do it. He says, outside of that, the only bit of information that we've been able to gather is that the gobos have taken over the courtyard. Seems to be fairly sparse in the palace itself. We don't know much of what's beyond. At the row of esteemed crafts dwarves, they have some sort of mechanized machines up on top of their walls there that a barricade. It's quite formidable to get past, and but nothing seems to come around it. So got to keep an eye out there. Making your way out the city beyond, if you live that far, is going to be quite an adventure, I'm sure, as their guards are actually looking that way. He says, but that's about all we know about this place. He says, have you heard or ran into a sorceress named Ipamari?
Well, funny you should mention that. We have a fellow who tends to sing his troubles. And he got tricked into opening some box that snipped off a bit of his finger and promised him a clone. A doppelganger, if you will.
There's like a kind of like a quick bickering back and forth where they're like, no, you don't, I don't, like where they're like everybody knows what each other was going to say and they kind of cut each other off. And the woman dwarf, Sheila Table Breaker, says, well, sir, you look quite stout and ready for anything that can come your way. We would just like to let you know that not all of us think that this Ipamari is evil. She just might be a little misguided. Though, take that as you will. We have seen things to show her to be both sides of things. But were you to get to the bottom of that, that might also free up our mind from whatever weird machinations she might bring in there next.
So what you're saying is maybe not go in swinging with her.
And she like some people say, "Oh, go smash her head!" And blah, blah, blah. And she's like, "I would." She seems both powerful and complicated, so I would proceed with not with the hammer first.
So you're saying she might be convinced into.
We haven't met her. We haven't talked with her, but the actions and deeds she's done down here have been of all kinds of morality.
Both sides of the coin?
Both sides of the coin. She says, now, as a son of Ula, I understand that you may be less tolerant of those in the world of Grey, but she's, at least, would be an interesting study before you relieve her of this mortal coil.
That's good information to have.
Yeah. Says,
So they've got the walls leading up to the esteemed Kravs dwarves, lined with defenses.
Yeah, they said it's barricaded up.
Barricaded. Okay. So can we go around?
They said no goblins or anything come around that way. We're not sure why.
Fair enough. All right.
They say, would you like to stay for a while? We'd offer you a drink, but
Well,
have you got anything to drink?
no.
Oh, my poor son.
You have no idea. So I thank them for the information. Play a couple more hands of the dice,
Yeah.
poker, and
Say adieu.
go along my way and remind them that they can go and see Marva.
Myra.
Myra.
They all get up and they kind of stand around you in a half circle, and they have a look that can only be interpreted as like they wish they could clap you on the back, but they can't. And they all wish you well in their own various kind of ways. Some sayings you've heard before, and some you haven't. Various catchphrases. Basically be safe and have a good travel.
Godspeed and all that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one of them even invokes the name of Ula in a positive way. And they'll let you leave, but they don't leave the room.
All right. And just out of curiosity, on my way in or out, did I see anything that appeared to be
Valuable.
in reference to Ula?
I am sure you did. On the markers that were in the crypt were all various sorts of symbols, and I would say probably an eighth of them were Ula. Ula isn't the most popular
big one.
Yeah, but she's very revered. She's just smaller, and like it's kind of a thing too, where typically they're going to go with the other M name
Let me look that up for you.
not Mordor.
Morden?
Morden, because he's just kind of like the bag catch-all, everything. But yeah, there were a good handful of them, which seems about on par with the rest of the world.
All right. Well, I make my way out of the crypt.
Very cool. Do you go the same hallway you went down, or do you go down a different one?
I'm going to go down, because I imagine that they were playing in a different hallway than what I came down? Or in between halls?
The halls came to a dead end in a big flat wall that was there, and then there was just a doorway that went on a little bit farther, and they were kind of almost in like a janitor closet or something, but a little bit bigger. More like a rectory.
I gotcha. So I was envisioning that the hallway went this way, and then there were doors.
No, they just
went to the other.
Right, there's just the one door, and then the ways to head down. It's like a giant
tunnels down the other way.
Yeah, tunnels or like a ridiculously huge library, like rows and rows, like the 5 rows that you can go down.
No, I think I'm going to stick down the hammer road just because I believe that there's something to that.
Sure. Why risk it, right?
It's my kind.
Yep. You make your
hammer
way.
swingers.
Yeah, sure. You make your way out, and I'll let you decide how Thordin's feeling or acting as he comes out. But yeah, you emerge unscathed, and you guys, after probably an hour, 45 minutes, Thordin comes emerging out from the crypts with no gold in his hand.
Yeah, I don't have a single golden thing. I give back the cloak.
Oh, thanks.
I give him a bit of a skull when I give it back.
Of course.
But I say, I encountered the spirits down there. They seem actually in better shape than I thought they would. They did warn me that, there's quite a lot of fortification around the esteemed crafts dwarves area. And that they would love it if we could clear out all of these goblins. And I emphasize all of these goblins.
Because Shaky is one of the goblins?
Right. That's my emphasis.
Yes.
Is that Shaky is one of the goblins.
Your emphasis. Mm-hmm. Do you guys say anything back to him?
No.
No, I'll thank him for the cloak, and then I'll put the cloak on.
Okay. Very good.
And I'm going to warn the bard. I know you're still quite upset about your fingertip that you've lost. They did mention that the Ipamari has been known to do both good and bad. And is quite powerful, so it may be worth us not taking the hammer swinging approach upon first encounter with her.
I thank you for that input.
I realize it may be tough
But
to...
anyone who tries to hinder my public relations becomes evil to my eyes.
And I don't think it was the intent to catch a bard in that trap, but I don't know if I'm going to talk you out of this one.
He's like, I'll just set this here. This information here.
Just portraying what I was told.
How often do you get the opportunity to try a 300 plus
I know.
year old whatever?
Dwarven rum.